I'm Bridger Swayzinger, and Brianne is actually my wife, so she was just talking, and I'll follow her up. Okay, so through God's work in my life, I found where I belong. I grew up in a church-going family, but when I was young, I had little interest in learning about God and the Bible. I had deaf ears to hear and understand biblical teaching. I was more interested in running off from kids' church just so that my friends might like me, and that pattern continued. I would do what I thought would make me valuable enough that they might like me, so I could possibly belong with them. At a young age, I began to seek relationships and the praise of others through academic achievement, so that people would be interested in me. This pattern brought me to a point in middle school where I was broken and believed that I had little value and I would always fight a losing battle to belong. I couldn't find the value I longed for in the people around me. At the Lutheran church I grew up in, young adult confirmation classes started in 8th grade. I grew close to the youth pastor, Brad. He cared about me without any requirements or conditions. He was confident in explaining how he had a relationship with God, and I began to get interested in the Bible because of the love others showed me. At that time, I believe God opened my deaf ears to start to hear biblical teaching. I started to learn about Jesus in the larger story of the Bible, how I have disobeyed God and that has earned me punishment. But God sent Jesus, his son, to pay the price of punishment I deserved. In accepting what Jesus to pay the penalty, in accepting what Jesus did to pay the price, I could be saved from my brokenness and be in a relationship with God. I was excited to be learning about these things, but at that time there wasn't lasting change yet. And around that time, it was approaching the confirmation ceremony, and I started to get nervous. I started to get nervous that I would go up in front of everyone and lie. Because I genuinely wanted to tell the truth that I did believe in Jesus. And so, at the confirmation ceremony, I was in a large 4-court renovated gym with carpet down, black walls, and flags hanging from every country all the way across the ceiling. And there are 2 large screens that were playing the stories or little videos created by each participant. And there I sat in a group of about 100 people, all the confirmation students with white robes on. And I was nervous. And it came to be my turn to go up. And as I was walking up, I was praying in my head, and I was asking God that he would make my faith real and lasting. When I got up there, my pastor asked me just a few questions. And the gist was, did I believe in Jesus as my Savior, who could pay the price for my sins? And he asked if I claimed Jesus as Lord of my life. And I said yes to his questions. Up there, he gave me a hug, and it was as if God was giving me a hug through him. And I felt an immense amount of joy. And after that ceremony, testament to what God had done in my life, I began to run to opportunities to learn about following Jesus. I joined a small group, and I went to various conferences that taught about how to follow Jesus as a young person. The problem was that I also lacked strong men closely involved in my life. As I continued to seek knowing Jesus, I also had deeply entrenched habits of seeking value in relationships and achievement. These things continued to trip me up, and it built discouragement. So after high school, I went to Kansas State University. And one of the reasons I wanted to go to Kansas State was I wanted to be involved in a strong campus ministry. So, and early on, an old high school friend and I connected, and he invited me to be a part of his Bible study, which I was pretty psyched about. Now, and before long, I was in his Bible study, and I was surrounded by strong believers and other men who were seeking a relationship after Jesus. And that was very transformational. Now, not only did I belong to God, but I belonged with a community seeking after Jesus. This started a trajectory to lean on God rather than relationships. I started to push back on perfectionism and trust that my values and what God says about me rather than what others say about me. I still look forward to a lot of growth in those areas, but I know that I belong with Jesus in heaven forever.